Everyone was convinced you were just some clueless pretender, without even basic common sense, spouting off with zero clue what you were talking about, and you were supposed to be a top Joaquin grad. Xiao Dongshan was certain you were just running your mouth, but what he didn't know was, you weren't the same Mugi anymore. The real challenge had only just begun. You paid zero attention to the looks around you, and instead tilted your head with genuine interest, eyes burning with quiet confidence. Commander Zhao, I don't need you on your knees, and I definitely don't need you calling me grandfather, but your tone carried just a trace of playfulness. If I actually come through, every time you see me from now on, you call me Big Bro. Deal or no deal. Xiao Dongshan barely even thought about it, agreed without missing a beat, then turned with all his soldiers to make his exit, but he hadn't made it a few steps when he whipped his head back around and left one final warning shot. Mugu right, I'll be back for those rounds. And then he was gone without looking back. The Kong Ming scrambled up to your face in a panic, wailing, Director, what are you doing? We can barely even get the machines running in here. What are we supposed to make bullets with? Our own blood? You raised an eyebrow slightly, eyes blazing with a steady, unshakable confidence. Other people can't. Who told you I can't? Seeing that look in your eyes, the panic that had been tearing through Da Kong Ming's chest somehow began to settle. You turned and gave the order. Quit whining, Da Kong Ming. Go round up the rest of the workers right now. Liberation Arms Factory is about to fire up. After giving the orders, you swept your eyes across the wreckage of the factory floor, and those eyes were full of fire. So Long Guo's rise was going to start with a bullet. Honestly, not a bad place to begin, because here was the reality. Given Long Guo's current industrial foundation, even if you pulled out the full blueprints for a second-generation fighter jet, there was no way to build it yet. So Zhao Dongshan's seemingly impossible demand had actually landed right in your wheelhouse. 50,000 rounds, 1 week. For any other small weapons factory of this era, it might genuinely be an impossible task. But for someone carrying the most advanced production knowledge and full bullet manufacturing technology from the 21st century, this was a free throw. Your gaze swept across the battered factory one more time, and a massive plan was quietly taking shape in your mind. Half an hour later, all 8 workers of Liberation Arms Factory were assembled. They might not have much education, and they might not know a lot of big ideas, but their love for the newly born Long Guo was beyond question. It was exactly this kind of people, the most admirable kind, who had built a good life for you in your past. Director Mu, is the factory really starting up? Are we really going to make bullets? That's incredible, and if we can make more bullets back here, the guys out on the front lines won't have to bleed as much, hearing the slightly rowdy noise all around you. You didn't show even a hint of annoyance, you just nodded hard. Absolutely. As long as everyone follows my lead, we won't just be making bullets. Tanks, aircraft, even nukes, we'll build all of it. Yeah, Director Mu, we believe in you. Yeah, we believe in you. And soon, under your calm, systematic direction, the once broken-down factory came alive, workers moving with purpose everywhere. They quickly cleared away the damaged machines and carefully moved them into storage, then began taking inventory of the remaining materials. But you quickly discovered the quality of steel available in the early years of the nation was shockingly poor. To produce rounds that would actually hold up, this steel was going to need to be retempered first, and the production line for the bullets needed to be built as fast as possible. All of it sounded overwhelmingly difficult, but for someone with modern technical knowledge loaded in their head, it was almost too easy in about 2 hours. A basic tempering furnace had been built under your direction, and the bullet production line had been assembled by the workers at a jaw-dropping pace. Fire it up. With one word from you, the workers burst into a full-on frenzy, and with a deep mechanical roar, that bullet production line miraculously came to life. In an instant, every single person's heart was in their throat. Then one by one, gleaming golden rounds began rolling off the conveyor belt, and everyone's emotions erupted. Director, you absolute legend. You actually did it. You actually made bullets for real. Everyone grabbed each other, hollering and jumping, every single face glowing with pride that came straight from the heart. You just laughed and shook your head, giving them a hard time. Look at you all. It's just bullets, and why the meltdown? You were teasing them on purpose. Wait until we build cannons. Wouldn't that be even better than getting married? Oh, absolutely. Da Kong Ming didn't even hesitate, pounding his chest. What wife could ever top building a cannon? You were already cracking up at him, and gave him a light kick in the ankle. Stop running your mouth. Get back to work. Da Kong Ming didn't miss a beat, and immediately led the workers back into the roaring chaos of production, watching the incredible scene before you. Your mind was already racing ahead. Time was short, and there were still so many things waiting to be done. Time flew by. The days passed in a blur. At the factory gate, Zhao Dongshan showed up as promised. But before he even walked through the door, his mocking voice was already echoing outside. This Mugi talks a big game without breaking a sweat. 50,000 rounds in 1 week, doesn't even stop to look in the mirror, and ask himself if he's actually got what it takes. One of the soldiers gingerly poked Zhao Dongshan, and hesitantly spoke up. Commander, what if this Mugi actually pulled it off? I heard the machines in the factory haven't stopped running this whole time. Sounds like he might have done it, at that. Zhao Dongshan laughed, and shook his head with absolute certainty. Impossible. Completely impossible. If Mugi actually cranked out 50,000 rounds in 1 week, I'll crawl butt naked from here all the way to the Yalu River. Having laid down that bold declaration, Zhao Dongshan didn't waste any more time, and strode into your factory like he owned it. But the moment he stepped inside, Zhao Dongshan and every soldier behind him went completely slack-jawed. The factory that had been buried in scrap was now spotless and running like clockwork. You set down your book and looked up. Commander Zhao, your 50,000 rounds have been ready. With time left over, we went ahead and added another 100,000. It's all right here. Want to inspect it? Da Kongming pried open a wooden crate, and the blinding glint of golden rounds hit everyone at once. Zhao Dongshan, the man himself, stuttered for a full 3 seconds. This was completely beyond anything he could process. But that wasn't even the end of it. Zhao Dongshan snatched up a round and examined it closely, and found that the quality of this batch was nothing short of top tier. Confirmed. 100,000 rounds. No question. In that moment, Zhao Dongshan had no pride left to protect, his right hand trembling with sheer excitement. He was grinning from ear to ear and kept saying, "Muge, you absolute legend. You're the real deal. I knew you had it in you." But then one of the guards nervously piped up. "Commander, didn't you say if Director Mu actually came through, you'd crawl all the way to the Yalu River?" Zhao Dongshan launched a kick that sent the guard stumbling, and the whole room exploded. Even you couldn't hold back a laugh. Though honestly, you didn't mind Zhao Dongshan's way at all. Afterward, Zhao Dongshan turned around over in his fingers, studying it carefully. "Muge, the casing is brass, right? But the feel is a little off."